Okay, so next up, I'm actually going to first start a new project, just the general version of the project, to just demonstrate again that you can start from any point and begin sculpting. I can begin with this simple cube and go into my sculpting workspace, or just go into sculpting mode. Let's see. Yeah, my keys are working. Good. And I can try to sculpt. But at first, I'm not going to get anything, right? I can get a little bit of movement there, but I can't really dig into the surface. And that's just because I don't have the geometry I need, right? I can only move the points. I can only deform this to the extent where I have the ability to move these points. Nothing's going to happen between here and here unless there's another point delineated. And so I can add complexity to this if I want to customize it. I can, one easy way to do that is going into edit mode and hitting A, and then right clicking and hitting subdivide. And when I've done that, it only subdivides it once, but if I don't click away, I can click on this pop-up menu that comes up whenever I do an action, and I can increase the number of subdivisions. And you can see you have more data here, more points. I can then go back into sculpt mode, and now you can see that I'm actually able to deform this with more nuance. I can go back in here into edit mode to see the change. I can subdivide again. Okay. Great. And so now I have a pretty good amount of data. And in general, best practice is you don't want to you don't want to add more complexity, more data, more points to this than you really than you need. So you want to be careful not to overdo it. It'll kind of really run down your process, or it'll weigh heavily on your processor. If you put too much into that, it might even crash the program if you overdo it. But feel free to play with adding complexity. You can reduce things later. It's not, if you have too much complexity, too much information, and your application's running really slow, and you want to kind of reduce the complexity, there's a couple ways to do that we will cover. Maybe not this class, but soon enough. So just to get into the tools a little more, again, you have your add and subtract with your tools. So I'm going to subtract this when I'm in the draw tool to smooth the corner down, or sorry, to push the corner down. To round it out a little bit. Another really important tool, this isn't really doing what I want. I kind of want to smooth it, kind of shape it into a sphere maybe. Another important tool is the smooth tool. And the smooth is used so much to just smooth down in between like sharp edges and kind of crinkly edges, that just holding down shift and drawing will always revert to smooth. So I'm usually actually in the tool, and so I'm just clicking, but I can also, I guess I could probably invert that and make things bumpier. No, I guess it doesn't work like that. Is there a minus for smooth? Oh yeah, it does. So you can make things bumpier. Huh, I haven't really used that actually. It's almost never the problem wanting to make it bumpier. I mean, there are ways to add texture that you get to control. So that was a pretty cool, like a sharp going to a very smooth edge. It's a nice looking object. Okay, so you can kind of smooth it down, and again, the more vertices you have, the more you can get this smooth down form. Well, it's not a sphere exactly, but that's good enough for now. I guess I could go a little stronger on that smooth. Oof, there we go. I also like to use the inflate And that's kind of like draw, but it sort of like puffs it up from the inside almost. And just try the different tools. You know, there's a lot of different cool tools. F is what allows me to change my brush size. These deforms are really important too. Elastic deform will just kind of push and pull. Oops. Let me grow my brush size. Elastic deform is great. It can just sort of deform your object in pretty controllable ways. And then, oh wait, that's actually the grab. So the grab is a little bit more, a little sharper movement. So elastic deform will pull more of a range of points with it. So it's like a broader influence. So I go between these two, depending on whether I want to just like crimp in this little section or whether I want to move, you know, all these adjacent points. Snake hook is really great too, because I can just sort of pull out a section and just keep it going. So if I want to actually extend and start to build out a body and a character, I can actually build the entire character just by beginning to pull things out via the snake hook tool. And maybe I'm making a snake right now. So it's really worth spending a lot of time just getting a feel for the tools. As you sculpt, you'll want to circle around your object like, oops, I had no idea that half of the cube was left intact here. So now maybe I want to just kind of mush this into the main body that I was starting to build. I'll try to smooth it down. Can I just smooth it into place there? Yeah, that works. Try to circle around your object, get a sense of it fully in the round. Hitting F and then what do I do? And then I move the cursor, or I move my mouse to increase or decrease the brush size really quick. And there's a lot of other tools, but I would start just with the grab, the smooth, and I would say all three of these deforms. I'm sorry, start with the draw, the smooth, and these deform tools. And play with the others. There's one of the newer tools is actually like this cloth tool that will give your object wrinkles. If you're actually later on, you know, making some clothing on your character, you can just add some nice wrinkles. There's different ways to actually use this tool, or you can kind of customize some of the you know, attributes of the tool, some of the variables to get different properties. So there's cool stuff like that. Yeah. And next up, we'll start to get into the process of actually creating a character.